Hmm. See all the white British black heritage up there. If you can see, yeah. Educational time again. Yeah, man, this promotion has to keep going, bro. Yeah, as you can see, we have up there this one especially. This one especially. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, white British black heritage. It's all up there. These are things that not get talked about, you know. These are things that's not talked about, my people. This is the education that is missing. Yeah, man, this is the education that is missing. So, this is the link. This is the link. Yep, this is the link. Yep, this is the link. That's it. This is the link that you need to have. This is what it is. Again, if we don't know this type of history, again, this is what a lot of people is missing out of. Yep, you cannot be originally English without having black heritage. Things that are before English, as you can see, there is Mercia, Middlesex, Sussex. You know, that's why, again, we have to understand that everything is a deception. Yeah. Because they have the same complexion, that doesn't mean they have the same heritage. That's why there's something called a Commonwealth, yeah? The United Kingdom is a Commonwealth country, meaning they have a similar heritage, yeah? They have black heritage. So, the fact that miseducation, yeah, my people. Yeah, this live has to go. We're gonna continue with this live with this. Yeah, my people. You see up there? Yeah, man. If you don't have black heritage, you're not originally English, Scottish, Welsh, all of that. Yeah, if you don't have black heritage, you're not originally nothing. I were made in a lab, so the fact that You have been miseducated about not to know about your black heritage. That is a disadvantage, because times like these where all of the miseducation has left with so much hostility, you can't realize that, okay, you can't really find it hard to say apologize and okay, we was miseducated, you know. But now, just like what's happening in England, you have those that have your same complexion that is using taxation to kill the rest of those that identify themselves as white. Same people are using taxation to destroy those that identify themselves as white. Because why? They forgot their heritage. They forgot their black heritage. That's what happens, you know. This tactic was done deliberately. Started in Nazi Germany. Started with Napoleon when he separated the imperial family. That's the bloodline. That's the heritage. Napoleon, yeah. And then they created a new imperial. That's where you get the Berlin Conference from. Yeah. So this destruction of biology first started by Napoleon. I think it was even more further, but before that they were warring over, again, settlements, land. But to separate your black heritage, it was first started with Napoleon. Yep. He separated the imperial. He created a new one, Berlin Conference. He started using a lot of new scientists like Darwin to make up weird theories, and then programming Germany. And because England had a German king, also program the English, send the strong Englishmen to war for no reason. They got killed. Now leave the country weak because there only was the vulnerable, the children, adults, and the elderly. That's all that was left. Someone's coming up. Oh, Earth is earthless. Yeah, appreciate it. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, not much. How you doing?
I'm good. Like I
Yeah,
say, doing my best to connect humanity together, because I gain a lot of education.
yeah, I respect that. No,
Miseducation.
I enjoyed our talk a couple of nights ago.
Yeah,
Um,
of course, I
and
appreciate it.
I forgot what the gentleman's name was that I should research.
Oh,
Um,
Thomas Middleton.
Thomas Middleton. Yeah, that. And I was listening. I will look that up still. I
Yeah,
listened to you a couple of nights ago, and you said uh, the word chemistry comes from chemet, and I'd never heard that before. And I
yeah,
looked it up, and you were spot on. And that was
yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting. I mean, I was familiar like alcohol and algebra and alphabet. That all comes from Arabic,
Hmm.
Arabic language. But then, yeah, chemet and chemistry had a link. That was fascinating stuff. Yeah, I can't really understand what a lot of this is about in terms of the image that you've posted up.
Oh, okay. So all of these are real places. Like you have Wessex. So these are before England was even formed or united. All right, from the Union, because England, from 7 petty kingdoms, there was more, but they say 7. It they united all of those kingdoms to one, and then that's when England was created. But before that, there was other kingdoms.
Mm.
Mercia, you have Northumberland, you have Wessex, you have Middlesex, you have Sussex, you have Kent. These are so many different other kingdoms, and like I say, they come from. So when you hear Saxon, you're thinking like Germans. No, like there's Middle Saxons, there's West Saxons, there's East Saxons. So you have like the West Saxons. You have from King Edward. I know you heard about King Edward. So
Yeah.
so King Edward, his bloodline goes all the way to the Kingdom of Leon and the Kingdom of Castile. So in that time, those two kingdoms was a part of the Kingdom of Granada. And you see when you see the it look like an English flag, right? With the four Moorish king, that's called the Kingdom of Sardinia. So the Kingdom of Sardinia was a part of the Iberian Kingdom, which is the old Mediterranean. This is where you have the Carthaginians, the Pataic, the Phoenicians, Carthaginians, the
Oh,
whole.
that's why you were previously, because I listened a little bit this evening. That's why you were saying that they're Moors. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. I get you. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the fact that so because as you can see, so all of the original, so like the Scottish, but the fact that the original, because England is a Commonwealth country, Commonwealth, right? It's not a European country, it's a Commonwealth, and the reason why it's a Commonwealth, it's a realm. So a realm is a dynasty, meaning one family, because we're in the Atlantic Ocean. So we have where they talk about Atlantis. So that's the Atlantic Ocean. So the families of the Atlantic Ocean, you could find all the islands, because the islands meaning they are the highest peak within. Say if you have a flat plain, island mean actually islands. So wherever, if there's a flood or if there is any type of catastrophe, yeah, everything, the people that have, again, the most intelligence or just understand nature in itself, they would build their castle or their country or their county on the highest land. So that's why, again, within the Atlantic Ocean you have islands, and these islands are the same islands that is a part of the Atlantic Ocean, and that's connected to where you have the Mediterranean, because that is they call it Athens. Yeah, it's a one water stream that flows all the way in to the mainland. So this is where you have all the way into Palestine, is it Lebanon, and those mainland. They call it, is it the Levian, yeah, the Levian coast. This is where you get majority all of the bloodlines. And so the fact that the strongest Roman emperor, which is Septimius Severus,
Yeah, you talked about him a few nights ago.
yeah, he was a part of, because obviously he's Libyan. He's a part of that said bloodline, because they came to defend certain areas that belongs to, like I say, natives, like for instance the Scots, Irish, the Welsh, from being invaded by Adrian, because Adrian was more, I think, alongside with Julius Caesar. So again, to defend, that's when you get the walled city of London, also New
Hang
York.
on. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we just go back to the whole Wessex thing?
Yeah,
Because you're saying that different. I think when you talk about bloodlines, you talk about royal families, right?
not just royal families are, usually royal families are the symbol of, like, the highest person or the strongest person would be like the leader of the group. Would be a royal family, but they're not.
Okay.
It's not like how it's modern day presented, where okay, it's just five people and that's it. That doesn't make sense, But
Yeah, okay. But I'm asking because in reference to when you were talking about Wessex and things like
yeah,
that, I think it's my understanding that those kingdoms existed in the sort of 5th century, 8th
yeah,
century, maybe.
yeah,
So like 800 AD. You were linking those with the Moors.
yeah,
Are you thinking that there were Moors in England at that time?
yeah. They y-
And that they were setting up kingdoms in England.
yeah, because it's because, like I said, England is linked to Africa. It's a Commonwealth country. Do you get it? It's Commonwealth. the Commonwealth. When you say, even when you look up the word common means more. That's another word for more. Like you have the commons. In the outside, and you have the commons area. That's
Yeah.
that's also called an haven. That's also a moor, don't it? That's why he says you could find Dunmore. It's a moor.
Okay. Just so
That moor, all of those.
in your understanding, sorry, you think that Moors came to England in around what's the earliest do you think they came to England? Is there
Well,
like a date, a year?
I could like so you have it's you could say it goes back. So from say the first century, it goes back. So the most clearest part is from the first century up, where you have like Septimius Severus, you have like Saint Maurice, where you have Pichen Niger, where you have um there's so much there is
Okay, so what
Marcus
like
Aurelius.
when you talked about is it Septimius? Is that who you're saying who comes from
Libya, yeah.
Libya? Sorry, yeah. So I think okay, so if so he got to yeah he was the emperor of Rome.
Yeah.
If surely we would find like hundreds, if not thousands, of skeletons with people with Moorish DNA in England, or do you think that's a cover up that we haven't found those, or that we have found them and that we've said their DNA's from somewhere else that's not Moor? Because I'm thinking this, if Moors did come here and set up kingdoms as early as the first century, I think we would find archaeological evidence for them, and we'd be able to test where their bones are from in terms of their DNA, wouldn't we?
Yeah, no, of course. But obviously they changed their names or their status. Like what you call, because we to this present day we didn't realize that even that Roman emperor, he wasn't really a Roman. You get what I'm trying to say? So like where things are being more clarified. So is that majority of the Romans, yeah, which they say is Rome, they're from um cartilage, just like
Carthage, yeah.
yeah, just like Tunisia, Tunisia, it said all a part of the Saharan, Saharan. You have even going, yeah, it's all part of the Saharan. So even yeah, so there is it's the fact that when you change the names, just like for instance when you say Wessex, right? The fact that that name is the name when say if they change from Moor to Wessex, you're not gonna you're gonna say these are people from Wessex. You're not gonna be if you don't look into it. Just like I say, just like I give you the said reference, King Edward, he's descendant from Moors, because again his bloodline is traced all the way back to the kingdom of Castile and kingdom of Leon that was ruled by the Moorish kingdom of Granada. So, and again the Iberian Peninsula in that time was ruled by um the same kingdom of Sardinia, and kingdom of Sardinia is where you have Italia. So it's where you have majority of those Mediterranean countries. you know these are the people that was there, because even down to in Italy there's like like the northern the southern Italy's like Sicily, like they have a lot of like all of Malta, all of these countries. Again, remember they were removed. Moors was removed from Europe as well to the Caribbean, to the Americas. So the removals and things. Like it was a lot.
Some of them became pirates. I think there were some famous cases of Moorish pirates.
Oh, it's yeah, of course. There were. It's like I say, the
The Barbary, I
propaganda.
think they were called the Barbary States.
Yeah, the Berber. Yeah. So the Berberis are when Islam came. So Islam religion mixed the biology up very much. Christianity and Islam mixed the biology up very much because you know that King David um came to the United Kingdom, Scotland. It's
King David is like what year do you think that is?
mm, it's so
Isn't that like Old Testament King David, as in 1000 BC, 500 BC sort of thing?
you know what I think when I realize history and doctrines, history have a more closer context to the doctrine of things, you know. um yeah, the history is more closer. The religious doctrine makes it seems further than it is, like older than it is. And that's what I've seen, when it comes to certain things. So but the same it's because there were like Dawood from Ethiopia. He also, again, in around the same time, still came to England. So there are those connection from Africa as well itself. So there was, where you have like Maritime. He said the Mercians are the Marines, the Maritime.
The Mercians, as in the English kingdom of Mercia.
Yeah,
How do you mean they're maritime? That they're
yeah,
like seafaring people?
yeah. So like one of the again, the Black King Arthur, he's of Mercia. Like I say, it's everything has just been covered up. That's the
Do you
thing.
reckon though? I mean, like, I just think that would be far too an elaborate cover up. Because I mean, this was what we were talking about a few nights ago. Is that I said that I think most educated white people know that the human race came from Africa, all of them originally, and you didn't think that was true. Um,
No,
and
educated ones. Yeah, no. I said educated, definitely. Most educated. Look, and it's a minority because educated people are a minority in the world.
I would extend it, and I'd actually say that most uneducated white people probably also think the same thing.
No,
But but and
no.
so when you talk about white people ignoring their black heritage,
Hmm.
um, I I mean I find it fascinating listening to you. I'll be completely honest with you. A lot of the things you say really, really irritate me because without dates, my mind can't really put things into order. But the things you know are extraordinary.
I could
I
give you
mean,
dates though. I could. There's definitely dates. But
no, I mean, like when I ask about King David, and then you say that, um, history. I mean, the way you phrase things is also very interesting as well. I'm not being sarcastic in any way. Um, I think you've stored and read a lot of very interesting, diverse information. The things you present really are truly fascinating.
yeah,
Um,
one of
and
the things.
I was
One of the things.
argumentative a couple of nights ago because, like, yeah, I don't, that thing about you saying white people don't think that they came from Africa. I think it's a misinterpretation of what white people actually think.
Now, I'll give you an example though. No, it
Yeah.
can't be because just like again, this was done in the from the 17 to the 1800, right? Um, from Napoleon himself. He was the one that really initiated the separation of the biology because he separated himself from the old imperial, and then he created a new imperial without Africa in being involved with it. That's where you got the Berlin Conference from, and from there, again with all of his
What?
scientists.
Sorry, well, I've got to. And this is the thing. When I talk to you, I've got to stop you at certain bits. So it's not
Cool.
because I'm uninterested. It's the opposite. When you say that Africa wasn't involved, in what sense do you mean?
In the Berlin Conference, there was
Yeah,
no
explain that.
there was no African representative for a new imperialism. There wasn't none. You know the Berlin Conference. If you look up the nations that was involved in the Berlin Conference.
Okay, so my limited understanding of it. No, I have no understanding of it. What is that? What happened?
So the Berlin Conference is where a new imperialism was established, due to the fact that again uh there was civil war between Eritrea and Ethiopia. So they realized, okay, this is the best opportunity to take over from the old imperial and create a new imperial. So they could. That's when they started. They cut up Africa and divide Africa and say this
Okay,
is for this.
sorry. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So and it's always because, and every time it happens, every time there is some invade taken over or some, because it was based through administration. Administration is the first thing. It wasn't like a war, someone come and take over. It always due to administration. Just like when
Sorry, are you surprised that there wasn't a black delegation at that conference, an African delegation at that conference?
that, of course, because the imperial is an order, and that order is the oldest order that you could find on this face of this earth, and that order has always been led again by an African country because they call the writs. If you know what the writs is, the writs are the human rights, the original document for human rights, and this is for all government bodies. So these so if because it's biology again, because they follow an order, meaning they follow a biological order of rulership. So when that got cut off, now that means again they cut off the biology, and this is the issue. So then the re-education through all of the new scientists that they developed in that time, like Darwin with his theory, then that's when the Aryan race got introduced to separate again totally from Africa. And but the fact what they did with the Aryan race, they didn't link it to Africa directly, they link it to India because
Yeah,
again
that's right. This is what
that,
I'm talking about. You know all of these things. It's fascinating.
Mhm.
Can I give you my perspective
Of course.
on human history? All right.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, I'm a white British guy. I mean English. I'm a white English guy. I've
Yeah.
always been interested in history, and I think these days we live in a multicultural society, which is a wonderful thing. But there are
Yeah.
people in our society who don't feel welcome, and that's tragic. And they don't feel proud about or know about where they come from, and
Yeah.
that's very sad. And they feel out of place in this majority white Christian country, if you want to call it that. I'm not a
Yeah.
Christian either, but like that's historically what England has been. And I think that colonialism happened for England, and it could have happened for anyone else on the planet. It did happen for the French, for the Portuguese, and for the Spanish, to a certain extent, the Italians. And there's nothing at all superior about English people or French people that made it possible for them to go and colonize and to brutalize people on the other parts of the planet, Africans, South Americans, wherever, Indians. There's nothing psychologically different in any sense about a man in the 1500s and the way his brain operated compared to a man in Ghana in the 1500s. The only difference is that our climate in the northern part of Europe and the resources at that time and our geographical location. If you look at where England is, it's essentially this doorway to the sea. You know, we're an island and we learned how to make boats that went across the ocean. There's no reason on earth why it couldn't have been Nigerians. I mean, the Chinese, there's evidence that they got from China over to America. It's just that they did. And there's no reason to believe anything on the contrary that other people around the planet, let's say Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, any of those people wouldn't have done it the next year or 10 years after that. It's just that English people, French people did it first. And by no means do I mean that that's a superiority. And so I think that it is unfortunate that people look back and think that white people, because that is our history, we think that we are superior. Because I don't in any sense, and that's why, is because psychologically I think that if history had worked out in a different way, and say that man in 1500s 1500 Ghana thought, okay, I'm from Ghana, I've grown up here, there's a whole world out there, there might be resources that we don't have. They would have done the same thing. That's the way I look at human history. It just happened to be the English, the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, and it could have been that man from Ghana, and he would have gone to another country and he would have done exactly the same thing. And the reason being is that we are human beings and there cannot be, we may look differently, but at the end of the day, our psychology is so, it's not just similar, it's the same.
All right. So you see, to me, and what I know, that history, yeah, is so incorrect, just for a reason. I'll give you all of the people prior all of these things, because in the 1500s, yeah, the world was more orderly, it was more established than now. It's the type of modern the technologies that we're seeing now, because obviously everything is redone. We're thinking that because obviously laptop and these things, it just appeared to look like it's been, advanced, but that is definitely not the case. If you cannot invent things that goes along with nature, that means you're not advanced. That is the advance. That's not advanced, because again, it's supposed to go with nature, not against nature, if you're creating anything. So the fact that
Well, in what way does a laptop go against nature?
because you dig up the materials from the ground, you destroy the trees, right? The type of electrical frequency that's going through the airwaves is causing electrical pollution. All of these things. It's definitely going against nature. If you could see all the floods that's taking place now, you just think it's because of that's what climate change is. When you change the climate by inventing things that don't go against nature, then you do have that's what climate change is. So
okay, so are you linking that to a ship that can go across the ocean?
So I'm saying no. So getting back to the topic at hand here. So you had this was in let me get the date. I get a date for you because these dates are old. So the 12th dynasty. So You have 900, yeah, 1900 BC, yeah? Yeah, 1900 BC.
Okay.
You had so Scotia, or so the daughter of Camuntet, yeah. So this is where you get Scotland from. So this was the daughter of Camuntet. She came to England. This is where you get. You have the kingdom of Albion.
Can you post up where you're getting this?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you, I mean, I've heard you mention that you think there's a link between Scotland and the origin of the word Scotia and Egypt before. I've never heard this.
All,
I mean, again,
all Irish, the original Irish people know this, and the original Scottish people know this. That's the difference. They know this because when I speak to them, this ain't a fascinating thing. They actually know this. That's what I'm saying. There's a big
they know
difference.
that there's a link going back to 1900 BC with Egypt,
Of
between
course,
Scotland and
of
Egypt.
course.
Okay.
Ireland, certain Irish people know that there are pharaohs buried in Ireland. They know. Like I say, you have to go to the original people. That's what I'm saying. There's original people that's here. That knows their origin. That knows that again they have again African DNA. They will tell you. The Irish people will tell you they have a certain DNA within them that only other Africans have, like from to cause inflammation in the body, certain types of biological thing. It's real. Like I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So imagine that even in the island, um, there are original people that you can talk or go and tour and find out more. But people don't do that. Even on the island, they don't find
I mean,
things.
yeah, but people can say a certain thing. If you were to give a DNA test to 100 people in Ireland, and one of those people came out with Egyptian DNA, then I think that would be quite realistic. To say that the most of Irish people have Egyptian DNA and it dates back to the year 1900. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Egyptians did um, unexplainable things. No one knows how any of that was built, from the very big, from the pyramids, all the way down to very small things like pots. There's no explanation of that. But I don't see the stretch of, again, do you believe in DNA?
Yeah, biology, of course, you have to that
Do you
biology.
really know, but specifically DNA testing? So, for example, if I've done a DNA test.
No, no, not because the fact that the DNA test can't, because if you all right, this is what I was explaining earlier. The DNA testing, it can't say, if say for instance the DNA would say you're 100% English. England wasn't around in that time, so that isn't that don't make no sense. Say like someone say, okay, they're off Russian, they're off Nigerian. These country wasn't around in that time, so the
No,
DNA
but
can't really say.
that's not what DNA tests say.
Go on, what does
So,
it say?
for example, when I had my DNA test done,
Uh-huh.
56% of my DNA comes from Ireland,
Yeah.
from the island of Ireland. It doesn't come from the Republic of Ireland. And then it's like 25% Scottish, 25% English, and it's just those regions that are circled. But then there's also a bit which comes from Norway, from the southern bit of Norway, like 6% or something like that. It's not saying that your DNA comes from that nation state. It's just saying that your DNA comes from generally this region.
So just like you just mentioned. So you're saying again, you're saying that there are movements of people. So the people that moved from one area, because if you're saying you're from there and you're from there, that means people had to move from where they are to be where they are. So because that's why you're mixed. You would say that's why you have that much DNA. So there has to be a movement. So if you're saying that area, then again, is not, then those people that came in that area, because it's a movement, because if they move all that way, the movement doesn't just stop. It's not like they just pop out the ground. They have to be moving. So it's still to get more accuracy, because where there's records, like for instance, there's parish records, like old parish records are old. There are tribal records, like people that's still in the area. There are national records, like there are kingdom records. Like these are more established things that you could actually find, like your nation records. All of these things, there are empire records. These are things that you could see, like, okay, I'm a part of this. These are the movement that they went. It makes sense. It makes more sense than a DNA, because again,
But it doesn't. I mean, the thing is, those things
because
perish
there's
over
more
time.
records.
You're talking about a record from the year 2000 BC,
They,
essentially.
they don't
I
perish,
mean,
because you could go to eat. That's what I'm saying. If you don't, if you see, that's the main thing. If you don't move, you could say whatever ever you want. But if you go to the place, you could see the records. That's what I'm trying to say. That's like, a soldier.
okay, so here's the
Different,
question.
big difference.
If you've been to Ireland, what is the record that there is a link between Scotland, I think is what you're saying. What is the piece of evidence that suggests there's a link between Scotland and Egypt dating from the year 1900
They, they, they,
BC?
they have monuments. They have monuments, right?
Which monuments, which documents? Where I mean, that it
You
must
have
be
to.
able to.
No, yeah, it definitely asks your Irish ancestors. Like, they
No,
telling me.
but you know these things.
No, I'm saying they. So when I'm saying the history, they're actually providing also reference. I forgot the name that they say about some hill. They told me, and even my like my auntie told me, like. But for you, I would ask. I would let them refresh my memory, because not everything I hold in my brain. But I'm gonna let them know. I'm gonna ask them and give me specific, because you're interested in knowing about these things. So then I know, okay, when I speak to Earthless, I will have
No, I
this
appreciate.
covered.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I think when you're saying about there's national records, there's tribal records, all sorts of things like that. There are,
Of course.
but none of them will ever be as old as DNA can prove. That is the ultimate record of where people are from.
No,
But again, remember, this is with full admittance that before DNA can be tested, I mean, as I said, Europeans got to Europe about 25,000 years ago. But prior to that, we were making a human journey that took hundreds of thousands of years from East Africa to Europe.
no, I'm saying, because
That's the ultimate record, and that is what the archaeology says, is what the anthropology says,
just
and that should be the only record that you need.
see, remember, you need archaeologists and you need anthropologists. So these two individuals, they have to go to the area first of all. So they have to go to the tribe. They have to go to the actual place where people exist and people have been. So if with that, with say you take a DNA now, yeah, if there wasn't the place that people were, if there wasn't the time that people were, if there weren't the evidence that people were there, that DNA wouldn't mean nothing.
But there is.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's still there. That's why, again, it's still there. That's what I'm saying. It because without the DNA, there's people still there that still keep the same tradition. That's what I'm saying. It's like, based on the world that we're living in, we're thinking things change like every day. Because that's what we're living in. There's people that still keep the same tradition, same culture, same everything from that.
Well, they don't keep the same traditions as people who came from Africa at that time.
I'm
I
saying there's
mean,
some people, not again. Of course. What do you think? Like I said, have you been? you have to go to these places to really say they don't. Like literally, you have to
So
really
the
go.
place that
You have to go.
where in Africa do you believe that the human race started?
Definitely Congo. I would say Congo.
You'd say Congo. Okay. I mean,
Mm.
mainstream science doesn't say Congo. It says East Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, that sort of area.
The reason why, because again, the river now flows down. It goes.
It's got nothing to do with the River Nile.
It does because again, the river now, because wherever life is, wherever life derived from, so wherever water or anything that provides life, life will be there. So of
Yeah,
course it has to be. So if there wasn't no
but
water down the end,
there's thousands of major rivers across
no,
Africa.
but that's one of the major, that's the river that everyone knows, River Nile.
It's the
That
river
is the
everyone
river.
knows, but it's not the only important river in Africa.
But I'm not saying, but that is the most important river in Africa.
And does it flow into the Congo?
Of course, that's where it starts from. Because remember, the Congo is up. When you say South Africa, that is North Africa. The map has been turned around. Do you know that the river now flowed down to Ethiopia? Do you know that?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's the only river that flows from the south to the north.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not to laugh, but like I say, we have been definitely disrupted within our geographical location and the compass and how everything works.
But
There's,
hang on, I mean, I don't need a compass. I've been on the Nile.
I've
I've
been on it as
actually.
well. I've been on
Okay,
it as
so
well.
did you notice that it flows towards Cairo? If you're in Luxor in the
Yeah,
south of Egypt, it
yeah.
flows
Cairo,
north.
Cairo is the no. Cairo is that's Lower Egypt. That's
No.
not north. That's not north. That's Lower
Well, okay,
Egypt.
it's not quite lower. You've got Luxor right in the south, Cairo's near the north, and then you've got Alexandria, which is
No,
on the coast of the Mediterranean. So the Nile flows from the south, Luxor, up.
no. If the Nile flow from Ethiopia down to Cairo, not up. The Nile doesn't go up.
But Cairo is north of Ethiopia.
No, no. Again, based on today's programming, yeah. If you look at the river and the way it flows, if you're saying if the south is usually down, right?
Yeah.
North is usually
It's
up.
not usually down, it's always down.
All right then. So that's not confusion. So if the river goes down, then it has to go down to south. It doesn't go up to north.
Well, that's why the
So
Nile
remember,
is so strange.
so remember, Ethiopia is in the north, so it's up. It's not down. Cairo,
Can you as this is your live,
yeah,
can you please put up a map of East Africa?
yeah, no, of course, yeah, yeah. I know it's a. One sec, I'm gonna get the map. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Because I mean, maybe this is semantics in terms of are you saying that the map should be flipped around, have Africa on top? We're looking at it the wrong way.
yeah, of course we are. We're flipped up, man. They turned the map upside down
What's the benefit of that?
to confuse humanity, to throw them off their compass. You know, that's moral compass.
It's not to throw them. It's not to throw them off the compass, though. The compass is based on magnetism, and our planet. If you left our planet in a spaceship and you were looking back at it and how it rotates around the sun, we would be at the top of the planet, and Africa would be. Well, part of it is in the northern hemisphere, and part of it is in the southern hemisphere. I've never understood that. Why people think that we're purposely trying to look at a map differently, in order to look down on people. I really don't think there's any weight in that at all.
Alright. Yeah, no, there's a lot to it, man. I know you're living in the modern age, and like I say, you don't see the problems. I get it, but there's a
No,
big
I do.
problem.
I do see problems. Like I see massive, massive problems with the planet. But I think that
So,
okay, here we go. I
so
really
look,
appreciate this. So there we have. So we have the source of the Nile in
yeah.
where? What would you call that direction? Lake Victoria? Is
Go
it?
Lake Victoria, yes, that's it. So you have
Yes.
the Medic Congo, you have the you have the you see Congo, you have Rwanda, yeah. So that's the
Oh, you're right. Yeah, sorry. No, I didn't realize the Congo. You're absolutely right. Well, I mean, yeah, you are right. Lake Albert borders the Congo
hmm
and borders Uganda, and so
yeah
the Nile starts in Lake Victoria. I mean, I didn't think that the Congo came that far over, but you're spot on.
yeah. This
Um,
these are I know it's and it's see what I'm trying to say it's things that when things that are not mainstream, it doesn't mean that it's not true. The mainstream things sometimes are not, a majority of the times are not true, because when people want to find out the details of like the world issues, like what's happening now, the mainstream do not really provide you with the actual accurate information. So
no, but I mean, to be fair, this is a mainstream map. I don't think that you've changed this map in any way. It was my ignorance to not think that. Um, it was my ignorance to think that the Congo isn't that far east in Africa, but the Congo is massive,
no, but
huge, huge place. And if you look on this map, I mean, I previously said Ethiopia is where the human race comes from. You said the Congo, and we were actually quite close.
yeah,
If you
it's not
think about
far.
it, Ethiopia and the Congo are actually very close, just separated by Uganda and South Sudan, essentially.
But the fact
Which
that
I
I'm
didn't
saying,
find. Yeah.
again, the map based on the modern the mainstream, because mainstream is, you would say, modern history. That's mainstream. Based on the map, on the mainstream view of the world, you will not think that it's upside down, because that's the mainstream. That's what has been programmed. But if you look, if you go behind the scenes, and you go to the places and do the actual study to find out, okay, is the mainstream telling the truth? You'll find out majority of the time they're not. So the fact that, again, if the river flows down to Egypt, as you can see, that's a long way away, then again, everything, the fact that things could be renamed, and just the psychology is a big thing when it comes to um compass. People can be suggestion could go a long way, to chill. It could go a long way. So, just that it was suggested that, okay, to change the way people think, first you have to change the earth science, because earth science deals with your psychology, yeah, and that's gonna be the geography, because that's a part of earth science, the geography. So how people view nature in itself, or the landscape, because if you change the landscape, you see there could be problems, just like what happened in Spain, or
So
Valencia.
hang on. Let me just ask you, if let me give you a hypothetical. If the world map is the wrong way round now, and
hmm
it and previously when we mapped out the entire world and we did put it the other way round, what do you think the human difference would be? How would history have been any different to how it's turned out?
No, because you, like when you do a exam, right? You usually you advance when you get things correct. You move on to the next level. So if things are not correct psychologically, again, you won't advance. So that's why human. 1 second. we won't.
But is it your thinking that we programmed ourselves to have the map like this, with Europe at the top of the map and Africa at the back, in order for white people to look down on black people and think that they're less?
No. Remember things again. Remember, we had the Berlin Conference. Yeah, this was the. That could be you just gave me an I wasn't thinking of it like that, but that could be
But
a
no, I mean, I've heard black people say that before.
oh
I've heard
yeah, I never thought about it like that. I never thought about it, but I know that
okay,
if you change the compass. So for instance, if you're trying to go north and the compass has been manipulated, you're never gonna find your way because you're not gonna know where you're going. So you could be in an area not knowing where you are, but based on what people tell you are, you just accept it. So you never truly get to where you're going. So that's being lost psychologically. That's an effect. That is a climate. That's real. That's the Earth got. So like I say, location, how things are focused based on how the Earth moves. If you don't know, that means again you're gonna be affected. Could be by times, because that's why again you have cycles. Everything connects. This is physics. So if you don't have that psychological intellectual development, then again you could be affected by just the Earth rotation, whatever it is. You could be affected, and we are being affected by everything that's taking place. Even if we believe it or not, we are being affected by every single. That's why mathematics is so important, because if we don't get the formula correct, you might think that it's okay, but eventually it's not gonna last. Because it's mathematically
yeah.
it's not on.
House of Lancelot is again. It's been a fascinating conversation. I always enjoy this. I
I
always learn a
appreciate
lot from you,
it.
and it's great.
It's because because I do. It's because
Can,
I do care about. I genuinely care about every human being. I like.
I know, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Can I ask you? Are you from the UK?
Now, I was born in Jamaica. Um,
Oh, are you?
I grew up in the UK. I came here when I was young. Like I went through schools, colleges, universities, travel, all of that.
Okay, I can still hear a bit of the accent. It's like
Yeah,
the two blended accent. That's
true.
awesome. I've got to go. I really appreciate it. It's always great chatting to you.
I appreciate
Have a
it.
good day tomorrow, mate.
All right,
See
you
you
too. Yeah.
later.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
So again, this is why I make the live is because again, I really do. Like I say, majority of people that are on TikTok, they're really just entertaining. Like I really, it's a genuine thing. So, because like I say, it will be natural if you're strong. You will naturally want people to be strong because, again, there are more benefits in that. There are more benefits when people are connected. It's natural. Physics tells you, chemistry tells you, biology tells you that if you unite, it makes sense, more easier. But how we started is by educating, by sharing. So the fact that that's cool. That's cool. That's computer science. That is brain science. You're sharing neurons. You know, that's neurological activities that's taking place. So my people, what's the time? 10. All right. Appreciate for staying. Yo, Ken, I appreciate you for this passing through. But yeah, this is real. So again, I got something that's strong right now. The background and the topic. So I know that I'm gonna keep this. This is gonna be a continue. This is gonna be the next continuous live. Because if you see my page, I had a continuous live No, I got some more uploads to upload, but this is on this screen. When you're gonna see the background, it's gonna be a continuous thing. So because it helps to connect, those that are white British to their black heritage, because you can see it. You could everything that you're seeing here. These are black heritage. That's why, like I say, the fact that you have the British, the English flag, but majority of people don't know what the English flag even mean. They're thinking it's actually a flag. This is denoting your biology, your bloodline, the red and white blood cell that's coming out of it. That means you have a royal blood cell that coming out of Egypt. That's the two crowns, the double crown, meaning the two powerful one, the Pichian crown. It talks about the upper now being in the white crown and the red being in the lower now. So again, these things are not taught. There's no education in this. You get me? Because they don't want to unite humanity, knowing that, again, like I say, you can't be originally from nowhere if you don't have black heritage. Yeah, that's one of the main things. Yeah, Saint Kitts is a part of the, yes, yeah, Saint Kitts is a part of it, of course, yeah, because Saint Kitts is a part of the ancient Atlantean islands. Yeah, Saint Kitts a part of the ancient we're the ancient Atlanteans. Like, we are old. Like, like that's why you got the islands. Islands mean we're the islands. And yeah, man, the originals of originals, man. That's the thing. Like, we are of the realm. Yeah, man, it's real. So the fact that, again, we're connecting humanity with education, because this ain't a thing where they show. Yeah, this is not even 0.1% of presentation I have. I have like trillions, in various different countries. Saint Martinique and the Grenadines, isn't it? The Grenadines. I'm sure Saint Martinique is on there. Yeah. No, all of the islands are, yeah, because you have the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. Antilles, you have the Antilles. Antilles, the Greater and the Lesser Antilles. Yeah, that's where what they will class as heaven, man. Yeah, so that's why every time, that's why every time, for instance, the Pharaoh passed, they send him on the Khufu boat to heaven, but they usually use it as the underworld, but that's where they go. They go to the islands, the heavens, so yeah, man, so much. But this, like I said, this is gonna be a continuous topic with the background, because this was originally my main topic, I've been doing before, because I wanted to spread light on the Windrush generation, because, again, majority of people don't know where they're from. The Windrush generation don't know that they're the original Moors that got removed out of Europe into the Caribbean. Like things like these. Things that are detriment to your future existence. So we have to get people. Yeah, man. Yeah, trust. So the fact that, again, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's, man, ignorance is that yeah, ignorance is wicked, man. Yeah, man, ignorance is different. Yeah, man, it tells you how ignorant people can be. Yeah, it tells you. Trust me, it tells you that ignorance is it's the wickedest thing you could get. So it's just that's it. So, but big up yourself, Kenny. And like I say, just tune in. Like I say, my live, I go drive time live. I do my drive time live from 6:30 to 7. Also 3:30 or 4 to 4:5. then in like now from usually 9 or 10 till 11, and that's it, close. Yes, yes, my G. All right. Yeah, man. Sun always rising, grounding. Yeah, man. Real talk. Big up yourself, my brother.